Well, it's Good Friday, start of our lakes weekend, and we're hiking up Skiddaw via Linghow.
Yep. And Ullock Pike.
And Ullock Pike.
Ullock.
Ullock. Bullock like a bullock. And already...
You're knackered.
I'm not knackered yet, but probably will be by the time I get to the top of this hill. Anyway, out in nature for the whole weekend. Yay! Yay! Me and Mel don't have a great deal of luck with their car keys. Mel just asked me the name of that lake over there through the trees, and I went to retrieve my phone to look at the map. And I've left my phone in the car, probably on the dashboard. So Mel volunteered to run back to the car to get my phone. Ay, ay, ay. So if it's not car keys, it's bloody phones. Anyway, I'm gonna... Mel's run back round to the car. 500 metres to the car. 500 metres back again. And then she'll catch me up. I'm carrying her backpack at the minute, so shouldn't be too bad. Okie doke. Yeah. A nice little bridge.
I know, I was looking at that, but it's full of frigging...
I know, I was just wondering if there was any trolls underneath there. For the kids, if there's any trolls underneath.
Oh,
Nah,
right.
no trolls. Might be a troll or two up there though. What do you think?
Are you calling Nanny a troll?
Oh, there's a troll.
Last time I go back to your phone.
This hike at a good pace is 4.5 hours.
Well, this way it's going to take us 10.
I reckon it's going to take us 12 hours. Yeah. Oh, there's beautiful ferns with the new shoots coming through. As Mel just brought to my attention. I don't know if the GoPro's picking that up, but we'll be switching backwards and forwards to the top of that. One straight climb up. I'll wait for you at the bottom. Coming out of the wood onto the fell. Out the darkness into the light.
The gate don't even connect.
Yeah. Well, don't suppose there's any sheep trying to escape. Whew. That's a big hill. Whew. When you get exhausted climbing these hills, it's all too easy to forget to look back and admire the view. That is almost as beautiful There's my dear wife.
That looks like a golf course, the grass looks like green.
I ain't bothered about golf courses. Yeah. Unless Donald Trump's watching, then I'll go for a round of golf with him if he's paying for the beer afterwards. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so we're climbing up towards Linkhow, I think. Or this
Climbing up towards Linghow on our way to Skiddaw, she thinks. Alice good. Mel reckons that black fin going down the middle of the lake is Loch Ness Monster. Apparently Ness has come to the Lake District for his holidays. We're following the switchbacks and we'll be going across that ridge shortly. When I say shortly, not sure what that means exactly. We're only a couple of kilometres in. We're already, I'm sweating like the proverbial pig. Obviously we're in the lakes doing Wainwrights, and no surprise that all the hills are quite aggressive and steep. Another 100 metres before we hit another switchback and turn right and move up towards that ridge. Whew. That was me nearly on my arse again. That pimple you can see in the middle of the screen there, that's Skiddaw.
well, I think it is.
Quite some march to get there yet though. Just as we came around that switchback, before we climb out over onto the ridge, we found the wind and we're having to layer up again. Let's get back to the jackets. So that peak there is our immediate objective, and we're going to go across that ridge and up the fell there to Skiddaw, which is just up there. Then we'll come back down on ourselves. Doing a circular route back to the car. Long side. Climbing up long side, okay. We'll be up there in an hour. I said we'll be up there in an hour-ish. Ish. Just hidden from the wind at this moment, but when we go over the top there in a few minutes, the wind will hit us again, and the wind is actually biting cold. So whilst we're hidden here, I've started to perspire again. The wind will be back any minute.
longside edge.
This is longside edge, yeah? Certainly constant climbing. I think that's Ullock Pike. Go over the top of that, through the saddle over there, and then up to Skiddaw, and then down the other side.
Yeah, you're okay.
The higher you get, the stronger the wind blows, and it just steps it up a notch as we came over that peak, and it'll step it up again when it goes over that peak.
Did you manage to get up there?
Yeah, it's a piece of cake. Well, when I say a piece of cake, that's not exactly what I mean, but we'll definitely manage to get up there. Just in a little divot. There's no wind. As soon as we get another 50 yards up there, we're blowing a gale again, so just taking 60 seconds to admire the countryside. Let's go. The only way to train for this type of terrain is to climb up this type of terrain. Yeah, you can do all sorts of stuff to make you stronger, but there's nothing like it. Yeah, proper fell runner coming down. All right, mate.
Well, I'll be going down and up.
I bet you ran up it though, did you?
Oh, you've got to get there somehow.
You have. See you later. Oh my word. See how much faster Mel is than me. Swine. Truth is, I gave her a head start. Just wanted to make her feel good about herself. Again, don't tell her I said that. Path goes over here towards that cairn, and then it's going to bend to the left. So we've still got another 100 metres of climbing outside to go. Hopefully you can see the trig point. Pimple over there. To the cairn, you think think you're at the top, but you're not. That's the top over there. Meek. Don't know if you know what it means, Meek. That's the canny wind, that. Yeah, I know, we better get to this trig point and then try and get off the mountain, yeah. Oh my word. Oh, I've not felt wind that strong since we got pushed off Ben Nevis. Oh my word. Invigorating. We were gonna stop and have a sandwich at the top of Skiddaw, but all we're gonna do is touch the trig point. Get out of this wind, I think. We do have one more peak, I think, to climb up, but let's get up to the trig point first. Got to climb that now. What's it called, that, Mel?
Little bag.
Got to climb that now. It's called Little Man. It's not little though. It's quite big. I'm sure the GoPro makes it look small, but that's definitely another challenge. Anyway, we get to the top of that, and then whilst we're in this bottom of this saddle, we've got to climb back up there again, and then we'll go down the other side of that valley, and then we've got Dodd Fell to do, which is lower than this, so it's all downhill, and then back to the car. And that will have been 14 or 15k, a very let's say challenging because of the wind and because of the elevation, but very rewarding. Pretty cold though. Right, let's get to the top of this hill. So still climbing up Little Man. At the moment, we've just come out the bottom of the saddle, and then when we get to the top of Little Man, we've got to come back down here into this saddle, and then back up to the top of Skiddaw, and you can see how much elevation we've lost there. So still, I thought it was going to be easy. There's still a long way to go, so let's crack on. Still a long way to go to get up this one. Yeah. Well, that's the top of Little Man. So now back down into the bottom of the saddle, up to the top of Skiddaw, down Skiddaw, across what looks like a ridge there. That one in the middle of the screen is called Dodd Fell, on the top of Dodd Wood, and then from top of Dodd Wood we should be able to see the car park. So maybe another hour. That's when you're doing mountain hikes, you have certain stages of emotion. The week before you've planned the hike, you're really excited about taking the weekend off, and the first route we've planned is called Skiddaw. We've planned a particular route that is based around Skiddaw, and it's taken in, I don't know, 4 or 5 Munros, with Skiddaw being one of the highest for the day. And the emotions are, you're looking forward to taking the weekend off. The night before, you're thinking, brilliant, we've got a day off, we've got a weekend off, we've got a long weekend, it's Good Friday, we're away. And then you start off at the bottom of the hill and you're a bit trepidatious because you think, oh my word, look at the size of that. And as you can see it, your emotion is, oh, that's going to be a very, very hard work. And as you start climbing up the hill, it's increasingly hard work. Off comes the jacket, you're down to the t-shirt, you're sweating like a pig. And then particularly that big long ridge which is called Longside Edge was constant false peak after false peak after false peak, and that kind of demoralises you a little bit. And then you get to the top, you get to the Munro, the fell top at the top of Long Peak, and then you feel a sigh of relief because you've broken the back. But then you look across the Skiddaw and you're full of fear or trepidation again, and the climb from the first peak up to Skiddaw is a proper killer. That was a real hard climb, and then the wind on the top was amazing. That's got to have been blowing between 50 and 60 miles an hour. We were actually on our knees at stages, and that was really tough. We're now in the saddle, so there's not much wind at all, which is allowing me to get some words in. Now we're climbing back up again, so I've got to climb back up to Skiddaw, which is another hard climb, filling me full of dread, But once we get to the top of Skiddaw, it's almost literally downhill all the way to the car. A bit of undulation, but nothing like that. If the camera can pick up where those two people are, that's not the top. That's a long way from the top. From there's quite a long climb. So looking forward to getting back to the peak of Skiddaw and then starting to descend for a change. Whew. Right, got to stop talking, start walking. Out for now. Out the wind now, we're descending Skiddaw and making our way around that path to the left to Dodd Fell, the top of Dodd Wood. We walked all the way up that ridge this morning. Late morning, we didn't start till late. We've been shopping in Keswick, and then we hiked all the way up that hill, which is Skiddaw, up to the trig point on Skiddaw, and then did Skiddaw Little Man. So I think that's 3 Wainwrights up there bagged. We're walking down Scree, which is I'm walking like a duck. Right. And then we've got another one row to bag, which is Dodd Fell, which is the lowest of the Monroes on this hike, but we have definitely broke its back. Now we're pretty much on our way back to the car, picking up some fantastic scenery on the way. They say that the Lake District has some of the best scenery in the world, and I have to agree with that. Lake District is top notch. Don't you dare fall unless I'm pointing the camera at you. But yeah, it is quite hard on the knees and the ankles. Oh, going down an incline. Oh, look, an incline this steep. Oh. Careful.
I can't eat this chocolate bar.
Well, sit down and eat your chocolate bar.
It's like cocard.
Yeah, I was going to say that. We got sandwiches in our backpacks, but we haven't been able to get out of the wind to a comfortable enough spot to sit down and eat sandwiches yet, so we both just got a Snickers bar out of our waist belt pouches, and the Snickers bars, bearing in mind it's Good Friday, so it's mid-April, late April, the Snickers bars were frozen. Nearly broke my teeth biting into it, which just goes to show how cold it is on the tops. Down at the bottom it was nice and warm. Careful, my dear. Careful. I bought my first Paramo jacket today. I've tried everything else. and I need something that manages my profuse sweating, and so I need something that's breathable as it can possibly be, to help wick away my sweat and my moisture while still keeping me warmish and definitely keeping the wind out. And I didn't expect to fully test this Paramour jacket today, but we've had quite a lot of rain, not heavy driving rain, but we've had rain, and we've had 60-mile-an-hour winds. So I sweat like a pig going up the hill, soaking wet. I've only got a t-shirt on underneath this jacket, and I have to say, even at the coldest point on that peak where it's blowing at 50-60 miles an hour, I've not been cold. My fingertips were cold with gloves on, but my body has not been cold, and the wind has definitely not penetrated my Paramour jacket. So first outing, a big success, and whilst I don't look forward to going out in storms, we do generally get out in a lot of storms, so it'll get a proper test as the months and years roll by, and I'll keep reporting in on how I like my Paramour jacket. I think it's a Velez 3. Anyway, it's a something 3. So yeah, top marks so far. Well done, Paramour. It's impossible to walk around the Lake District and focus on speed. The views are just so magnificent in any weather that you just got to stop and look. So if you come into the Lake District to do a hike, make sure you spend or plan plenty of time. You're not going to want to rush. Anyway, we're getting down there, taking a left fork, uphill again, and down the other side to Dodd Fell, which, as I've said, is at the top of Dodd Wood, sparsely forested. And once we get to the top of Dodd, it's all downhill to the car. Gagging for something to eat, but just can't seem to get out of the wind, so probably won't get a sandwich now until we get back to the car. Yeah, another hill, you guessed it. Up we go again. Luckily it's the second smallest climb of the day. We'll get this climb out the way and we climb down to the foot of, well, not the foot of Dodd, but down a bit, then up to the top of Dodd, then down to the car. So far, what a brilliant day. Weather could have been better, but could also have been much worse. Descending into the valley. Good job we're going this way. Hey. We'll drop out of the wind now as we get around this corner, I think. In fact, we won't. We're going to be on this exposed side of the hill still. So yeah, we've probably got this wind until we get into Dodd Wood, into the trees. Maybe in a mile or so. Coming down like needles. just see Dodd there. Anyway, we're hiking round to Dodd. I'll bring you back in a bit. This wind is relentless. I said the wind is relentless. As is the extreme of either incline or decline, up or down, climb up, climb down. It's all extreme. Welcome to the Lake District. Welcome to those beautiful views. Look at that. And if you look at the house, the first white house right in the middle of the screenish, I'm guessing. See how far away that is and how small it is. It's still quite a long way up the mountain, but obviously going down. Yeah. Mel has spotted white stones. I reckon that's about 300, 400 metres away. 300, 400. Garmin says that is 328 metres. So we get to Whitestones and then we turn right towards Dodwood and Dodfell, up Dodfell to the top, and then, as I keep saying, from the top of Dodfell it's pretty much downhill to the car. But we've seen Whitestones on the map. Don't know if the camera's picking up those white stones down there, but anyway, we've seen white stones on the map, but we've never seen them up close like this before, in person, so to speak. So I'm quite looking forward to getting to Whitestones and hoping that I'm going to be impressed. We've been eyeing up that hill there, and the one right in the middle of the screen, and it'll definitely be a Wainwright to be bagged, and we were considering taking a detour around to it, but the detour would have been very, very severe in terms of we got to go down a long way, climb to the top, and then climbing down the face of that again would be a proper quad killer, an ankle burner, and then once you get into the valley, into that gill, then you'd have to climb up the mountain again this side to carry on round to Dodfell, and by that time it would be dark. Anyway, we decided not to. It was not on the plan for today, so that's all good. I'm really pleased that by the time we get back to the car we will have completed 100% of the hike we set out to do, even given the really bad conditions at the top of Skiddaw. I mean, those winds, I am not exaggerating when I say those winds were 50 to 60 miles an hour on the top of Skiddaw, and that's no joke. So always better safe than sorry. We felt we had it in our stride, and clearly we did. So we're kind of heading back down the mountain now, all safe and sound. Mel leading the way as always. and I'll bring you back to have a look at Whitestones in a minute. Whew. Here we are approaching Whitestones. Elle's climbing them as if she hasn't had enough wind. Yeah, you guessed it, wind's still here. Whew.
Get out of that wind.
Yeah, you're not going to get out of the wind now until you get into Dodd Wood.
Well, even that goes a bit low.
Well, the other side of Dodd. So that hill. Oh my word. So that's Dodd there. Dodd Fell. Right in the middle of Dodd Wood. You know, when you're sat in the comfort of your armchair and you say, I'll tell you what, let's add that Monroe to our route. And you're looking at the map and you think, yeah, that's easy, maybe 10 minutes. And then you get there on the ground and the route we created says turn left here, obviously. And now we've got a descend 400 metres and ascend another 400 metres onto the top of Dodd Fell, which we thought was a pimple. It might look like a pimple in this camera lens, but I can assure you where I'm stood, it doesn't look like a pimple. But we are marching down the hill and we're going to march back up again the other side, and then once we get to the top, clearly you can see how steep it is. We got to go down the other side to the car park. So day's not finished yet, not by a long chalk, because that's not a half hour, it's not the 10 minutes that we thought it was going to be. That's a good chunk of time added to the hike. Not complaining. Not complaining. Never complain on a Thursday. Oh. Mind you, it is Friday. Oh. So the train's still quite technical. But at least now, on this side of this slope, we're out of the wind! Right, okay. Mel says she can feel it there. So the Whitestones, I think, was calcite. I'm no geologist, but that's my best guess. Whitestones. If anybody knows what they are, bang me a note in the comments below. And as I am making a video for YouTube, why not, in the spirit of all YouTube videos, don't forget to click the like button or the dislike button if you don't like the video, and that would be very much appreciated. Mel's using an alternative route. Has there been a bit of a landslip there? Yep. Whew. Go on, straight down it. I'm staying behind you. I've got the camera on, just in case. Boom. That'll be slippy, that rock, be careful. You might have been better on that track up there, look.
Well, that's why I was going to go that way.
Okay, but I was looking forward to you. No, I wasn't really. I'm only joking. Oh. Tell you what, these declines are having a laugh with my ankles.
Yeah.
So we started off this morning about 11 o'clock and we climbed that ridge all the way past, you can't see it, and then up to the top of Skiddaw. Did a couple of Mtrs at the top of Skiddaw, and when we came down the side of that hill into here, and now we've only got Dodd fell to climb, and I thought by the time we get to Dodd fell it'll be like 10 minutes to the top. We've lost all of our elevation and got to the bottom, and now we got to go up Dodd fell. So Dodd fell is not the little pimple that I thought it was. So anyway, here we go, adding a couple of hours than I expected. But let's get on with it. We're heading into Dodd Wood. It's going to get dark in the woods. Probably got 3 hours till it gets dark, so we'll still finish the hike in daylight. But probably only just started, I don't know, shortly after 11 o'clock I think. But it's the first time we've done that route, and we knew it was going to be tough, but it was actually tougher than I expected for two reasons. One is it was just tougher than I expected. The hills steeper, the terrain more technical. That's both up and down. Definitely a quad burner and an ankle killer, and the rain hasn't helped. In places it's been driving. The wind was really strong, and the saving grace is, you've all heard the saying, there's no such thing as bad weather, just inappropriate clothing, and we have learned those lessons in the past, and from the start out we've been dressed appropriately. I've got a t-shirt on and a windproof jacket, which is a Paramo if you're interested, and I've not been cold at all except for my fingertips, my hands, but other than that we've worked hard and kept warm. But bear in mind that when we got our Snickers bars out to eat, the Snickers bars were like we just brought them out the freezer. They were rock hard. Nearly broke my teeth on the bloody thing. So that's a testament to how cold it has been, and I suppose a testament to the equipment that we've carried and worn. Right, not much to see in the woods. Turn you off and bring you back if we get a view worth looking at on at the top or on the way down. Oh, 100%, yeah. That's not our mountain. Skiddaw's at the other side of that, yeah. So that we climbed up that.
Yeah, we done that and turned off.
Yeah. So about where the centre of the camera is at the moment, we'd have turned left to start climbing Skiddaw. So all in all, I think we've been, whilst it was a bit of a blast on the top, for want of a better description, I think we've been lucky with the weather again. It has rained, it has been cold, but it's all been good. I was just about to say, unless it's a false peak, we're about to top out on Dodd Fell, and yes, it was a false peak. But that said, I can see the trig point up top, so we're nearly there. Bring you back at the top. So as expected, as we come towards the top of Dodd Fell, the wind's going to hit us again, but 5 or 10 metres to the top, and then it should be downhill all the way to the car park. Oh. Dodd summit, 1,612 feet, and that is our last man row for the day, and it's all downhill to the car. Been a bit murky all day. It's rained on and off all day. It's been very windy all day, and very windy on the top, and but we've enjoyed it. We've enjoyed it, have we not? Have you enjoyed it, Mel?
Yes.
Cool. Good.
Fun.
Some people have a strange idea of fun, because if you say to somebody, what do you fancy doing on Friday? Do you fancy climbing 1,500 metres up and down fells in the rain, in the cold, in 20 to 60 mile an hour winds? Most of them would have sworn an answer at you, and I was just guessing that the route down was over here, but that's a cliff, so it's not, I don't think. Mind you, I think it's there. I think the route is just down here, look. So I think we are on the right tracks, just not that, because that is a cliff over there where I don't want to go. Yeah, so most people would say no thank you, but with stronger words than that probably. But no, we've enjoyed it. It has been hard work, and when you're climbing up the hills, sometimes you think, well, it has been hard work, but, and it's delayed gratification, as they call it. Now, I'm just going to have a look at this edge, Mel, and see what it's like, because this is the route that I plotted. It is an actual path, but I want to see what it's like, because that is, I mean, that is literally a cliff there. But I'm just going to have a look around this corner, Mel, because I can't tell without looking around this corner. So that just looks like an ice skating ring, that there, and it's like it's going to be scrambling all the way down in mud. So we're gonna walk back down the nice track. So go back up, Mel.
Yeah.
We've got another 3 days hiking to go, and I don't want either of us slipping down there and breaking a leg. So back up, good idea. Well said. Forest road all the way back down to the car now. Can't remember how far it is, but not too far. A mile maybe. Anyway, we'll say hello at the end. Still going down, not at the car park yet. Don't know if the camera's picking up that ridge up there. We walked up there this morning. Beautiful trees. Still going down. Okay, that's fantastic. That's the end of the hike. Around about 15 kilometres. There's the car park right there. Mel's busting for the loo. I'm not, because I have trees. God, I wasn't walking past that when it fell down. It's amazing. Down at the bottom of the mountain, and it's comfortably warm. Only a breath of a breeze. And then climb up the hill, and it is blowing a gale. 50-60 miles an hour, and it's freezing cold. Cold enough even to freeze the chocolate bar, the Snickers bar that was in our pockets. That's how cold it was up there. Anyway, back at the car. So I'm going to get a sandwich. I'm going to get to Ambleside where we're staying, and have a decent meal because we've earned it. There's the car, sat waiting patiently for us. So that's it for now. I might do a roundup review at some stage, but if we don't, do me a favour, if you've watched the video all this way, as I put it on YouTube, if you got to the end of the video, please let me know that you got to the end and what you thought of the video. That'd be very helpful. Thank you very much. Thumbs up, like. Catch you later.